Welcome to our continuing YouTube video series on business corporations. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal. And in this particular YouTube video, we will be discussing the differences between directors and officers. So although oftentimes in smaller corporations, individuals serve as both directors and officers, and this can all even happen in larger corporations, there is a distinction between the two roles. And the primary distinction is that the directors are responsible for the broader picture aspects of the corporations. It's expansive decision making. What direction is the company going to take? Meanwhile, the officers, such as the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, chief executive officer, are responsible for the day-to-day operations of the company. So they are typically engaged on an ongoing basis, on a daily basis, working for the company, whereas the directors, their role is more infrequent. Their role might come up during board meetings of the board of directors, special sub-boards, continuing operations of a significant nature when they're called in and they have a meeting or they have to perform a function. They might only perform 3, 4, 5 days of work per year. Meanwhile, an officer is generally expected to work every business day in the corporation. So that's a key differential between the two. Next, we look at who appoints officers and directors. Well, the typical structure is that the directors are empowered and elected by the shareholders, and thereafter the directors elect the executives, the officers of the corporation. And in so doing, we have this progression because the shareholders ultimately own the company. So they go about and they empower their directors, who are then responsible for the larger, broader scope of the company and its oversight. And meanwhile, once they have been empowered, the directors then say, okay, who is going to undertake the workings of the company? And that falls upon the officers and the employees. But it's the directors who elect the officers, and then the officers who in effect are hiring the employees, the contractors, and the other business persons in the business. So that is sort of your breakdown in between the various entities. And as we stated again, oftentimes the same individual might well be a shareholder, might well be a director, might be an officer, and even an employee of the company. They are just distinct and different roles that are performed. And that one has to be aware of those distinctions for purposes of operating the business, but more so for recording and facilitating the roles that are being undertaken. I trust this has provided some clarification as to some of the distinguishing features between officers and directors in a corporation. And for legal matters specific to corporations, please do not hesitate to contact ourselves. And also look to our other YouTube videos on corporations and incorporation of businesses. Thank you very much.